So, Shams, welcome, very warm welcome to this special conversation with Adgully.
Yeah,
And we are looking forward to hearing some great things that Wunderman Thompson has been up to, in the past 1 year, in the post-pandemic period, the kind of recovery,
yeah,
and of course, your vision as well as the plans ahead for
sure,
2023. So we are looking forward to a very exciting and informative session from you today.
sure, absolutely.
Um, so, of course, first of all, we'd like to start with, it's been over a year now since you took charge as the CEO of Wunderman Thompson South Asia.
Yeah.
So, what have been the key developments, during this period in the agency? What were the key decisions and steps that you've taken, to forward the business? So, let us hear it from you.
So yeah, a couple of things. I think very simply, the lifeblood of our organization are the people. So my number one thing was how do I invigorate people? That was a challenge not just for I think Wunderman Thompson, but the industry at large.
Mhm.
Because coming out of pandemic, I think everyone was very transactional in the way they were working because everyone was working on their screens, everyone was doing Zoom calls and like we're doing now, and it
Right.
just kind of so I think day one in 20. So I was in office the very first day I joined, first
Mhm.
of November 2021,
Mm.
and I've been very particular on being in office because I think the atmosphere, the camaraderie, people working together,
Mm.
that just brings across the whole the whole agency culture. And how do I get people more excited about working and get that excitement back? I think the number one simplest thing that I wanted to do was just get people back to office, just get people working together, because we are a people organization. So more and
Right.
more we interact, more ideas come in, more things happen. So I think that we've been very successful for. I think now we have a lot of people right now coming to office, as well as it's a hybrid working environment. And I think
Mm.
uh, there is a great atmosphere, there's great culture, there's great spirit that is going across the organization. So I would say that's the simplest thing, and the one thing that I feel was the most important thing. The other thing, from a business perspective and overall, Wunderman Thompson Group perspective, what we did was we identified key areas of integration. So we have Wunderman Thompson, we've got Mirror, we've got Wunderman Thompson Commerce. So how can we weave in a end-to-end product for our clients? So it's still work in progress. I would say that
Mm.
the last 1 year has been about how do we, a number one is how do we get more digital. And by that I mean that we've had this amazing 90 years history of being one of the leading agencies, advertising agencies in India.
Mm.
I want
Mm.
to take that as a cornerstone, as a building block, and really try to take it forward in terms of saying how can we add more tech, more integration, more innovation on top of that, as well as
Mm.
commerce. So the
Mm.
last 1 year, adding those layers and also building and educating the team and taking them along the way in terms of saying that, okay, let's take a step up, and build more towards what I see as a because the pandemic also changed a lot of dynamics in the consumption patterns of clients. So we wanted
Yes.
to make it more on today's world. So I think we've been very successful in that. Clients have seen that approach.
Mm.
Clients want a single agency across everything that they want to do. And increasingly, I think that's what happened during the pandemic. The clients have wanted to want us to be more strategic partners, and be more end to end in our solutions that we're giving to the clients. So I think we've been successful at doing that. It's still, we want to still be better and better at it. But I think that's what we spent a lot of 2022 doing.
Right. Great. So you touched upon commerce, you touched upon more tech approach and all. So we will be touching that in a bit. So before we move to that, we are just about a month away from the new year. And this is a time when you take stock of how the year has been and what your future progress is going to be like. So, what would be your and Wunderman Thompson's key focus areas, specifically for the Indian market in 2023? What can we look forward to from you as well as Wunderman Thompson?
Yeah, I think while we as an agency have always been rooted in creative. I think that's been our legacy. I think that does not change. So we are really pushing the envelope as far as creative delivery is concerned. So I think you will see a lot of work that is coming out next year, which will really push the envelope as far as creative is concerned. And I think that thing which we are working strongly on. There is a let me put it. There is a tech angle to it. So it's of course taking our amazing skills as far as storytelling, as far as creating great artwork go, and really marrying that with the technology that each platform brings in to really do what we call as a third pillar of creativity, which is creatively using technology, is a big focus for our clients in 23. So we've the story that we are telling, how can we weave that story into all the new age technologies that are going to bloom in 2022. They've already done in 2022 and are going to go ahead in 2023. So that's number one. Number two is commerce, and especially D2C, direct to consumer, because we've got a very large team which understands commerce, which understands direct to consumers. And I think that is something which we feel also because the clientele that we have is clients which are looking at taking their business from offline to online, who are very, very strong, large businesses and are looking at and are already on the path to, becoming D2C brands. I think it's working with them to help. How can we take our brand experience and our commerce and marry that and take those two to the client? So that's the second big pillar. And the third big pillar, of course, is MarTech. With Mirum and MarTech, I think that is something which we specifically feel that marketing automation is something that we want to, work with clients and that's I think a growing demand, especially looking at how pandemics have changed, what are the pressures that are there on a company, and how they want to, really go into marketing automation. I think with Mirum, we have a very strong product on marketing automation. So I think these are the three main pillars for us in 2023. A lot more. I think these are the three ones.
Right. So you've touched about MarTech and commerce. I think my next question is there. You've answered half of it. So how do you, exactly plan to grow them, build them at scale, and how that will fortify your offerings, current offerings to your clients? How exactly will it help them grow their business as well?
Yeah. So the way we are looking at this is that we are kind of evolving ourselves from a brand experience to a consumer experience agency. At every touch point of the consumer experience, how are we giving solutions to the clients which are helping the client really give the best experience to the consumer? Now, when we are doing this, of course, our understanding of consumers, are working with the marketing teams to come up with great concepts and ideas so that we are delivering great messaging to them is one big pillar of that. But I think when we are talking about MarTech, that enables this whole thing very beautifully. And finally, when we are talking to clients, they say, yes, we want to build a great consumer experience, but finally, we also want them to, finally buy. So that's where our commerce team actually comes in. So we are actually building this whole, integrated approach. Now, there are a lot of clients who are buying that integrated approach. There are lots of clients who are saying, no, we only require a part of it. We only require your commerce services. We only require your brand services. We only require your MarTech services. So I think what we have identified is that because of the scale we already have, we've been able to unlock a lot of doors because of the already existing relationship, which has been, we've been here for nine decades. Some of our clients have been with us for 3-4 decades. The strong clients, relationships that we have are helping us enable, to unlock doors for MarTech, for commerce, because they already trust us. There's a lot of trust that is there with the agency. So I don't think it's a very difficult sell for us to be able to create that. I think that's the first kind of way that we want to work. Second thing is that we now have a very large body of work on both Martech and commerce. Now it's just about spreading that message that we've done such great work. I think we've slightly been not so good on talking about the work that we've done on Martech and commerce. So I think we will also highlight a lot of that, because I think the great work that is being done right now for clients and a lot of success that clients have achieved with both of our services that are there now needs to be spoken more about. So I think a lot of 2023 will be just about spreading the word and talking about the services that we are offering and how clients have benefited from that.
Right. So definitely with such a huge focus on MarTech, commerce, D2C field and all. So how do you see that contributing to the overall revenue growth of Wunderman Thompson? I mean, what percentage do you see them contributing?
So I wouldn't be able to divulge percentages, but I can tell you for sure that our brand business, our advertising business, of course, is going to grow. It's going to grow. And we will beat, I think the ADEX is between 12 to 15%, if I'm not mistaken. Overall ADEX would be approximately that, which was for 2020. 2023, things are going to come out. Of course, we're going to grow more than that for our advertising side of the business. But I think commerce and tech are going to grow 50-60%. So those are certainly going to be growth drivers at a much larger pace for 2023. And I also feel that increasingly clients are looking at one agency to give them a larger integrated solution. And hence, how do we weave in our story, which is on brand, along with the story on commerce and MarTech, are really going to help us, build those relationships which are much more strategic with the clients and not very tactical. So the way I'm looking at 2023 is we're looking at more and more strategic relationship with clients and building something which is more critical to them beyond just what we are currently doing. So I think, those two are going to be big drivers, as well as a fourth one, which we launched last year, was health. So we launched Wunderman Thompson Health. I also feel is going to be a big driver for us in 2023.
Right. So could you tell us a little bit more about this health division or the unit that you have formed, and how exactly are you offering, the kind of business advantage to your clients with that? Could you also tell us a little bit about the clients that you have, if you could share that?
We'll send. So Rohini will send across the clients. I mean, off the cuff, we've got Sun Pharma, we've got GSK. We've got on the, so that is on the brand side of the business. We've got a lot of brands that are there on the healthcare professional side, and that's where I think there is a great strength that we have in the Wunderman Thompson group. In Mirum, we've got an agency which has got great capabilities in delivering healthcare content. Now, to healthcare professionals. Now, you require a very specific skill set and a very specific type of people to deliver that, because it is very regulated. You need to understand, and they have a very large team, both in-house and a large team that is there, as well as the kind of technologies that they use allow them to have a unique advantage in the ecosystem. So what we've done is we've married what we call the brand side of the business and the healthcare professional side of the business, and come up with a very, I would say, one of the few agencies in India which straddles both sides of the business. It's still nascent, it is still new, but I'm very gung-ho about the offering as such to potential clients, where we can go and say, okay, as one agency, I can actually understand the type of messaging that you require to speak to a healthcare professional, and the type of messaging that you require to a final consumer, and I understand how to speak to them, and to speak to them in the right kind of terminology and in the right kind of metrics that are there. So I think clients are taking that up. It is still building. We've just launched it about 6 months back, but I am quite gung-ho about that. So that's what makes it slightly advantageous for us.
Right. So this health unit per se, it's parked within Miram, or you're planning to
No, no,
hive
it
it off
is.
into a separate?
No, no, it
Uh,
is. It's not parked. The future of our company is really an integrated team.
hmm,
So as far as the client is concerned, it's Wunderman Thompson
hmm,
Health.
it's a
Uh,
one.
where it is getting delivered from, it is an integrated thing. We are
Hmm,
creating these services for the clients, which are completely seamless and integrated. So I would say it is a Wunderman Thompson Health thing. So it's an integrated approach that we're doing. It's not going to be one or the other. It is going to be
hmm,
central to our business. That is that.
absolutely. So you had touched upon the skill set part, and talent is something which has been, an area of concern, so to say, within most industries, and advertising itself, with so many newer divisions coming up, with so many newer approaches to doing business coming up. So how do you grow this talent pool? Where do
Yeah.
you get this talent from? Do you train them in house? And when
Yeah.
you do the hiring process itself, so how do you, what are the criteria that Wunderman Thompson, and as well as the advertising agency overall, is
Correct. So
following now?
I think as an industry, we've slightly fallen behind the
Mm,
entire. We used to be the choice of recruiter for B schools of campuses, etc. A few years back when I started my career, for example.
mm,
I think we need to have a great, and as Wonderman Thompson, we embarked on a great trainee program. I think the trainees are a lifeblood of what we've done. They also, it's not just about work. They also bringing in new enthusiasm. They bring in new ideas. They belong to the new age. They infuse a lot of understanding of where things are going. So I think what we've done is successfully is we've kind of reinvigorated the entire trainee program that is there. That's number one. Number two, we've also focused a lot on our people. I think we are so much, and this goes for the entire industry. We're so much focused on recruitment.
mm,
I think our focus is more internal in terms of how do we retain. I think that is going to be very critical. And third, I think what's happened in the past 3-4 months, I think augurs well for our industry. I think the balance had shifted too far against our industry as such. I think now things are going back to a normalcy, and I think you will see talent coming back into the industry, and good talent coming back to industry. And I also feel the draw of the agency life, people coming back to work. I'm a big believer, honestly, in people, coming and having an atmosphere where you want to come to office. You want to be able to enjoy the work culture. You want to be able to really celebrate the success together. You also want to create, and as I always say, the great thing about advertising is that we create some gems out of chaos, and that can only happen when you are actually working and jamming together. So I think these are a few things that I really strongly feel. I'm a big believer saying that the hybrid work environment, people coming back to office at some extent will also get people back into advertising.
right. You had touched upon the technology aspect in advertising, and we've seen several tech advances, that took place this year. You've mentioned them earlier as well. Uh, Specifically, we've seen more and more usage of artificial intelligence, machine learning coming into the mix, and also with agencies as well as clients growing their presence on the metaverse, right? So how these new tech advances, how they have been impacting the way advertising is being done now, specifically digital advertising is being done, number one. And secondly, uh, how geared do you feel the Indian advertising industry actually is, for such tech advancements, specifically like, metaverse presence and all?
Yeah. So I'll divide this into two. AI and ML are something
Hmm,
which the industry has been using for a while now.
hmm,
And especially when I am talking about whether it's about, whether I'm talking about programmatic advertising, whether I'm talking
hmm,
about reaching the consumer in the right space, or creating versions of content at scale is something that AI is helping us to do. So when I want to really, make lots and lots of content at scale and very quickly, AI allows me to do a lot of that. So that is being used for for a while now, and AI is only going to improve and add value to what we do. So the way I look at it is, and a lot of people are scared of AI and saying, there is a if that is going to do all the job, what will we do? The great part about creative is that AI will not replace what you do. AI will just kind of do a lot of the ops work. But as a creative agency, our job is to really think big and think path breaking. And as I said, it's finding those gems in chaos. So how do we do that? And then AI will take that and do iterations of it, let me put it that way, to an extent. So I think that's something that, and then the machine learning will of course understand that and enhance it and improve it every time. And then, but I think the focus really is and I think there are a lot of studies which have shown that when human beings and AI and ML work together, the output is amazing and mind blowing. So I think AI and ML have been used for a while. Metaverse is something which and the Indian industry has adopted to it quite well. But metaverse is something which I still feel is in an nascent part in our industry. We need to, so right now I think a lot of brands are using it they're just testing the waters. I feel the last one, 2022 has been about just testing the waters as far as metaverse goes. But I think you will see in 2023 a lot more, not just advertisers, a lot of businesses and that I mean a lot of clients coming in and using metaverse to really start creating experiences for consumers who are increasingly living on that space. So the idea of a metaverse is that there is there's a virtual or a mixed reality world where a person is coming in and experiencing something which is very, very different to what the physical world is. So how, as a brand, am I going to also create an experience in that world, and not just do a pure branding activity, which also is fair, but what is the experience that I'm delivering to him, her, they, which is enhancing their overall understanding and their overall experience of the brand, is going to be key for metaverse. So I think metaverse, there is a lot to do. I think we're still very nascent in understanding metaverse and working on that. There's a lot of unlocking that has to happen on the metaverse space.
Right. So when it comes to advertising, what kind of opportunities do you see that ad agencies can leverage or utilize on the metaverse?
Well, from an advertising space, the thing with metaverse is that it's immersive, and hence there are different platforms that metaverse will have. Gaming is actually going to be one of the biggest drivers of metaverse. Right. So imagine that you are in a gaming environment and you are requiring a shoe, for example, that you want to select for yourself. What is a shoe company doing to be able to help your avatar online to do something about it? Of course, I'm going beyond pure play advertising, saying that, okay, I'll have some presence. I'll have, when I enter the metaverse space, I will have some presence for my brand there. I will have maybe an event that I create on the metaverse space and invite people. Maybe I sponsor a music show, which is only online, that is there. Those, of course, are a given. But beyond that, what are brands doing where I am going to enhance, again, coming back to the same thing, where I'm enhancing the consumer experience and building a relevancy of the person being on the metaverse and my brand being present on the metaverse. So what is the relevancy for him or her? If I am, say, for example, lack of a better word, if I am an auto manufacturer and I am in another gaming environment, how am I making my car customizable to him, which he or she experiences in the metaverse in a way which then they can go into the physical world and say, okay, I like this car, what can I do with it? So I think a lot of that will be about building that relevancy, building what is my brand story beyond just the regular advertising. So the regular advertising will happen. You will have maybe an AV playing. You will have your videos playing. You will have a metaverse event that will happen. All of that will happen. So I'm saying beyond that, I think it's about relevancy.
Great. Now coming back to the pandemic period, we saw, it disrupt industries, businesses, economies, countries, and the way clients were doing business, the way they were carrying out their operations, that they had to do kind of an overhaul of that. Uh, they had to change a lot of their long-term strategies. Their customers, their behavior changed, and some of them are being said to be quite long term. So how are clients re-looking at their ad strategies in the post pandemic world, and have you seen kind of an evolution or a change in the way they engage with the ad agencies?
Yeah, I think the clients have understood that they need more strategic partners. They are questioning their partnership. There's no two ways about it. A lot of clients before the pandemic had 4, 5, 6 agencies, maybe even more working with them.
Mm.
Now they're coming back and saying, okay, but I need one agency which is going to really understand my what exactly do I require? What is it that my questions are? What solutions do I seek? And hence, which is that agency which can answer and at least the agency at our scale can answer that end to end. There will be clients and there will be companies who would want very tactical campaigns. But I think increasingly the larger clients are seeking more an approach which is more strategic and saying, okay, what, Wunderman Thompson, you understand, the consumer, you understand technology, you understand commerce. What can we do which can bring everything together and really look at it in an integrated way rather than looking at in so bifurcated, even in the comms part of a business. If I take the comms part of a business also was very disintegrated because there will be a brand agency, there will be a digital agency, there will be a social media agency, there will be a agency which does your website, and it's all fragmented. I think the number one thing the client wants is someone that they can depend on to really work strategically with. So I think those questions are being asked, and honestly, those are important questions which the clients are asking, and we are also kind of being able to equip ourselves to be able to answer to those questions. So I think that is the biggest change that has happened post pandemic.
Right. And Wunderman Thompson, 90 years in the business, going strong. And obviously in these 9 decades in the market, it has built up some very strong relationship with brands. You've mentioned the relationships, they go back to 2, even 3 decades. So such long term relationships are quite rare to see in today's advertising ecosystem. And also in your view, how has the client
I think she lost power or something.
Hi, I hope I'm back online. Shams, I'm extremely sorry about that.
No worries.
Actually, there's some carpenters working over, and they switched off the main
Yeah,
power line.
Wi-Fi went off. And the Wi-Fi
So I'm really sorry about that.
No issues, no issues. Let's continue.
Right. So you were sharing your views about the the long-term client agency relationships,
Yeah, so
building
I
up,
think
especially in today's market ecosystem.
so I think we spoke about that in terms of saying that I think the clients are looking at partners which are much more strategic in nature. Of course, they want agencies which can deliver at scale, and that's what I think Wunderman Thompson has always been delivering. So I think that's really, I mean, we already spoke about it. So I think hopefully that's recorded most of it.
Right, hopefully. And having relationships for 2, 3 decades, how has Wunderman Thompson worked with that? What has been the secret of that kind of a success,
Uh,
long-term success?
Honestly, the secret sauce has been people. It is the people that have been working in Wunderman Thompson. Uh,
Mhm,
they have they have accepted and owned the brands as if it's their own. They have been working on it for and I don't think there's any other secret other than that. It is just the fantastic team that
mhm,
is there across all cities, and we have this another unique advantage as Wunderman Thompson is that we are as scaled up in each part of India, whether it's north, west, south, or east. Very
mhm,
few, or if any agency has that kind of scale in each city that is there.
mhm,
I think our strength in the relationships, in people that are driving those relationships, and the way we are actually servicing the accounts and working with the clients, I think that has really helped us in
mhm.
nurturing. I think that's really a secret sauce are our people.
Right. Um, so when you look back at 2022, how do you see Wunderman Thompson's overall performance, specifically in the India market, and
Yeah.
in
So
terms of overall growth,
it's been
revenues, and
fantastic. It's been fantastic. I can't disclose the actual numbers, but what I can say is that we're back to 2019 pre-pandemic levels
hmm,
in terms of our business that is there, and I think 2022 we've pretty much we've been able to overtake everything that we have committed.
hmm,
So we've been able to do more than what we have committed for 2022 and beyond.
hmm,
Actually,
hmm,
our profits are more than what we had thought we would be delivering for the year. Our revenues
hmm,
are on track.
hmm,
So I think 2022 has been really, really good for us, touch wood.
hmm.
And we just want to keep that momentum going into 2023.
Right. So, if you could also share the list of new wins that you have, probably you could send it separately,
Yeah, we'll send you, but
because.
there have been wins across
Hmm,
across businesses, across categories. Skoda
hmm,
has been a big win, for example,
hmm,
Vedanta, Sun
hmm,
Pharma. These are a few of the key wins that we've had.
hmm,
Rohit will
hmm.
share a list of all the wins, client wins that we've had this year.
Right. Now, coming to your Asia, South Asia role. So, could you tell us a bit about that? Like, what are your specific responsibilities here? And definitely, how are you taking forward this market? This
Yeah,
is quite an important.
so my responsibilities at the beginning of the year were across Sri Lanka, Nepal as
Hmm,
market and
hmm,
as India. I think increasingly the focus going into 2023 will be more on the Indian market because that is
hmm,
where most of my energy will be going, with an
hmm,
oversight on the others. And also, more importantly, I think it is really growing the integrated business. There is Miram,
hmm,
there is contract, there is
hmm,
uh, ADK Fortune, now called Fortuity, as a part of the
hmm,
business that we have, and we've got Wunderman Thompson Commerce, and also looking at acquisitions in 2023, more in the tech, martech, commerce space,
hmm.
content space that we are looking at. So I think that will be my major part of my role that is in 2023.
Right. Shams, thank you so much for being, for patiently answering to all those questions and actually giving us a very fairly comprehensive idea about uh, Wunderman Thompson's activities in the year gone by, and as well as your vision for 2023. We are looking forward to hearing some great news, your acquisition front, your MarTech D2C commerce front, obviously the technological push also at the agency, and definitely we are looking forward to a lot more hearing to a lot more from your end in 2023. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for your time and your insights.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Shams.